I met a friend of mine after a long time, like I did Sukanya, and I asked him the usual question, what do you do? And he said, I have this amazing job. I'm always surrounded by about 50,000 chicks. So I said, what do you do? And he said, I'm a poultry manager. And the reason I tell you that story is because I feel like a bit of a poultry manager right now. A man was standing on top of a bridge with the intention of jumping off it. A policeman who happened to go that way saw this scene and he said, hey, don't jump. Give me 10 minutes of your time and I will tell you as to why life is worth living. And then you take 10 minutes of my time and tell me as to why life is not worth living. Well, the story goes that after 20 minutes, both of them jumped off the bridge. And I tell this story because this is exactly how I feel when I go and speak in places like this. The audience is looking at you in a very funny way. They don't know what you're going to say. They don't know whether he's going to put you to sleep or whatever. So I'm here to assure you that I'm not going to put you to sleep. Both of us will not jump off the bridge, but hopefully we'll learn from each other by the end of this. So I'm going to make this very interactive. It's not going to be a monologue, it could be a dialogue. And therefore, please cooperate with me. When I ask somebody to come up, please come up. Okay? So, all of us go to many of these kind of functions. We go to TED, we go to another concept that I brought into India from the US was a concept called BILL, which is called, in the US, it's called the poor man's TED. Because TED costs you $7,500 and you wait for a period of 1 year to be invited to attend a TED. So the guys who started BILL went to the very same venue. In the evening, they hijacked the speakers onto the beach and did it for $50. So it was called the poor man's TED. And I brought that concept into India, and CK was one of my speakers at that. Okay, the reason we go to these kind of conferences, we get all motivated and we want to do something, and then we go back to square one. So let me ask you to do something. I want you to all clap your hands like this. Everybody. Okay, how many of you have your right thumb over your left thumb? How many? Good, you're the intelligent people. How many of you have your left thumb over your right thumb? Okay, you're the sexy people. Okay, how many of you have both your thumbs together? Anybody? Well, fortunately, no, because if you, you were there. But you're the people who think you're sexy, but you're not. So let me ask you to do something. Shift one finger up. Shift one finger up. Now, does this feel comfortable? Okay, back to square one, back to your old position. Now are you comfortable? And that is the reason we don't change. Because we are so used to our status quo, we are so used to our comfort zones that we just don't change. We want to remain in our comfort zones. And I'm going to tell you 4 things that will actually help you move out of your comfort zone and be very successful in whatever you do. After going to the US, I came up, I spent a lot of time in the Silicon Valley, so obviously you meet some very smart people and you get a lot of ideas. So I brought some of those ideas back and introduced it in Chennai. One of the things that we did was a concept which I call busrepreneurs. These are independent entrepreneurs who will create the buzz on social media. Okay, you know what social media is all about. Normally, Facebook is used for what? What I call CCB. We use Facebook to chat, we use Facebook to crib, and we use Facebook to boast or brag. You know, take a picture with Amitabh Bachchan and it's there. You know, it's like that. So that's what we normally use Facebook for, right? We use Facebook to chat, to crib, and then the cribs are amazing. You know, a lot of creativity goes in the cribbing. Because nobody knows, everybody thinks, is she talking about me? You know, that kind of stuff. But I have met guys in the US who are millionaires, and they use social media to do that. They sit with a laptop. They can be anywhere in the world. They don't have to be. If you know how to get more likes, very frankly, likes don't mean a damn thing on Facebook. But anyway, but people love it. You know, businesses want likes. There are people buying likes. Can you believe it? They pay 50 rupees for a like, and they buy likes. Although it doesn't mean anything. But there are ways, there are techniques which you can use very effectively to grow your business. So I'll give you 4 pointers on how you can become successful. Not necessarily using social media, but generally. The first point is elevate your thinking. Normally we think I think Indians generally are very shallow. We don't go deep enough into things. I have, thanks to TED, met some amazing people in the US and the rest of the world, and they do amazing things. They do so many different things. There's this guy I met in San Francisco called Joseph Klein. Joseph has been studying crows for the last 18 years. His whole work is on crows. Can you believe that? We don't even look at a crow here. And he says crows are the most intelligent of birds. When other birds give up, crows figure it out. And he shows you stuff, which actually proves that. He's got a beaker with a piece of meat in it and a wire there. And this crow comes and it tries to fish out the meat with this wire. And it is unable to do that. So it goes and bends it into a hook, comes out and fishes it out. So Joseph ultimately ends up making a vending machine for crows. What he does is he's got this machine, he's got a vending machine with groundnuts, peanuts in it. So crows come and get used to eating the peanuts. And after some time, no peanuts, just some coins. So the crows figure it out that if they push the coin into the slot, they'll get groundnuts. So they do that. This goes on for a couple of weeks. After some time, no coins. And then he gives you statistics of how much coins are lost in a city. So the crows go, find coins, come and put it in, and they eat the peanuts. And he shows you that. And this is what he's done in his 18th. So he's using crows to make money. So if you are creative and you look around, believe me, in a country like India, every turn you see opportunities, amazing opportunities that if you really look for, you will find. Here it's usually, when I go and speak in engineering colleges, I ask this question: how many of you are here because you wanted to be here? Very few hands will go up. Any engineering college students here? No. How many of you here because your parents wanted you to be here? 99% hand goes up. And why? Because the father is an engineer and therefore my son has to be an engineer. Or I couldn't be an engineer and therefore my son has to be an engineer. This is what happens. And so we have engineers, doctors, lawyers, teachers. But in the US you find so many different professions, people doing different things, amazing things. And at TED, this is the kind of people we consciously look for. And right now in SAM, that's the kind of people I look for so that we can give them a platform to talk. So the first thing I say is elevate your thinking. And I'll tell you why you need to do that. How many of you have read this book called The Secret? The Law of Attraction. It talks about the Law of Attraction. But did you know that The Secret is based on another book? Any idea what book that is? The Secret is based on a book called The Science of Getting Rich, written by a guy called Wallace Wattles 100 years ago. And the book was banned by the church for over 100 years because they said that if everybody became rich, nobody looked for God. And therefore the church banned it for 100 years. And Rhonda Byrne's daughter finds that book in the attic, and that's how she writes the book, which is based on the Law of Attraction. And that book, it's an 80-page book, freely downloadable from the net. If you go to Google and say The Science of Getting Rich, please read that book because it will change your entire life. Okay? And that says everything begins with a thought. Okay? Assuming you want to do anything, assuming you want to get up and walk away because you're so bored with what I'm saying, it has to first happen here. Right? So what we think is so important. And that is why we need to elevate our thinking, because like I said, everything begins with a thought. But we are so used to thinking negatively, right? And who are the first culprits who help us do this? Our parents, right? Don't do this, don't do that, you know, don't go and play with that fellow, don't go and play with this kid. Don't. And then you go to school, and who are the second culprits? Teachers. Useless fellow, get out of the class. You have E, elevate your thinking, desire, burning desire. Third D is discipline and dedication. And the last is Y, which is, that incidentally happens to be my name. See how I'm making sure that you don't forget me in a hurry, you know. So E, D, D, Y. These are the 4 points I want you to take with you and use it. Now, I shall finish my talk, but then we'll do a small game, okay? Can I have one gentleman? Sir, can you please come up? I called you because I call this the great Indian rope trick. I've told them that they need to come out separately, but without taking it off their hands, or they can't use a scissor and cut it, but they can use their imagination. This is like, let me ask the audience something. What is 10 plus 10 plus 10? 30. Are you sure? Any other answer? Huh? Why can't 10 plus 10 plus 10 be 10 to 10? Okay, so now what is 2 plus 2 plus 2? 2 to 2. Don't be silly, it's 6. So what I'm trying to say is that if you can say 10 to 10 when the world is saying 30, or if you can say 6 when the world is saying 2 to 2, you become what I call Maggi sweet and sour chili sauce. You're different.
Yeah. I just wondered if anyone has seen this before. Has anyone in the audience seen this before? If so, you can come up and show us.
Does anybody else know you want to help them? You're welcome, most welcome. Yeah, no, you can't do that. I mean, that's the only condition. Not allowed. Does anybody else know here? Okay, since we are running out of time, I will show you the solution. Okay, this is how we are, right? So since we are all so logical people, we tend to do this the normal way. But then if you think differently, thinking out of the box, thank you. And I did that just to prove to you that most complicated problems have very, very simple solutions. Thank you so much.